Hey dreamers, Bryce here from Midnight Notion, singer-songwriter, musician, and a big fan of Metallica. I went through for 115 days and rated every single song that Metallica's released so far, but there's still a few ties to break. So today, we're gonna break that tie for 30th place. Cue the intro.
So Ted, give it to me now!
For the best Metallica song! Devil's Dance versus Carpe Diem Baby versus Bad Seed. I don't know if you can get three songs that are more similar. This is going to be a very difficult battle because they're all three from the same record. They all three have that medium to low tempo to them, and they all three have very similar structures. So I'm going to pit them against each other using the following criteria: structure, flow, melody, engagement, and lyrics. We'll find out at the end who is the winner, who's going to get 30th place, who's going to get 31st, and who's going to get 32nd. So low stakes, but I want you to play along at home. Put in the comments below who you think is going to win each round and play along. Let's do this thing, but make sure you hit that subscribe button first. Why? Because we've made it to 500 subscribers so far, and once we get to 1,000, there's going to be a giant celebration, and you want to be there for that, right? Right? Let's do this thing. Here we go. Whoosh. Round one, structure. Let's take a look first at Devil's Dance. We have the intro, which is this long, nice, cool bass groove. I'm going to say this is a new riff because this riff does not match exactly the intro. It seems like a new part of the intro. It's not just the bass and drums anymore. We have an additional guitar riff and it comes back later. But it's not the main riff because this, I think, is the main riff. Then we get into the verse. We have a little callback to that main riff, and then we're into the chorus. We're going dancing. Then we've got the main riff again, another verse, another main riff, another chorus, that new riff from the intro. We're back to this again, and then we lead into the solo, where the solo, underneath the solo, we have a new rhythm guitar section, and then we have another chorus, another main riff, another verse, and another main riff. That thing is all over this song. And then we have a fourth chorus, a rare fourth chorus. Don't see that very often. Another main riff, and then we end it with a hook, which is essentially just the last part of the chorus. This structure, if you boil it down to just the lyrics, it's really just a verse, chorus, chorus, verse, chorus, and a hook on the end. So pretty similar to most of their songs, but we do have that extra chorus in there between the solo and the third verse. So it's a little bit different. Also, notably, there isn't a bridge section in here. The third verse is the same structure as the first two verses. So very interesting structure. Now let's take a look at Carpe Diem Baby. We've got an intro. We've got the main riff. We've got a verse. We've got a pre-chorus, It Makes Me Miss You, and then we've got the chorus. We're back to that main riff again, another verse. This is just like every other song, another pre-chorus, another chorus, very standard so far. We've got a bridge section. I'm going to call this a bridge, but note there's no singing here. It's just a build-up to the solo. And then we've got the main riff at the end of the solo. And we've got a verse, but this verse has a nice little stop in the beginning. So a little bit different, but it's the same notes and the same speed and the same, it's the same thing. It just has a stop to keep it interesting. Then we've got that pre-chorus again, the chorus again, and then we've got the main riff, and the outro, you'll note, is a little bit different from anything else in the song. And so there we go. Carpe Diem Baby. Pretty simple. If we cut out all of the riffs, we have verse, chorus, and then I guess verse, chorus. So again, very, very similar. Verse, chorus. Not much difference between the two songs other than that Devil's Dance has it has four choruses. Now let's take a look at Bad Seed. We've got a cough in the intro with some drums. This first riff, I'm gonna just call this the intro all the way through for a while before we get to the main riff. This one has the real groove of the song. We've got our first verse. We've got a pre-chorus, which features some ladies and gentlemen voices, and then the chorus. We've got the main riff again, grooving. We've got another verse and another pre-chorus with a different line. It's a different pre-chorus, but it's got the same structure. Chorus again. We've got a build-up that builds and builds to the solo. Then we've got the bridge verse, and I like to jokingly call this the in-sync verse because it's really just the chorus, but the notes are sung out. The words are drawn out longer than they are in the regular chorus, so it's just a little bit different. We'll call it a bridge verse here. And then we have chorus, another build-up. We're back to that same build-up before the solo, leading into the main riff on our way out of the song. So, once again, take out all the guitars, we have verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. A, B, C, B. Admittedly, when I look at these songs, I see three that are very, very similar. Obviously, they change just slightly from one to the other, but the structure is very, very similar. Verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. The bridge might be a solo, the bridge might be just a build-up, but it always seems to have that same pattern. So how do you choose between them? They're all in a 4/4 groove. None of them really have any changes of tempo or time signature. We have one song when we look at Carpe Diem Baby, we have some snare hits on the 1 and then switching it to the 2s. We got some halftime grooves. With Devil's Dance, we have some pauses throughout the song that break it before we move into the next section. But we're not talking about flow, we're talking about structure. So the only thing that I have to gauge here is what are they doing in that middle section? And when it comes to that bridge/solo section, almost every song of these three is taking from riffs we've already introduced in the intro or the verse or something else in the song that has already been already happened. So the only song that doesn't do that is Devil's Dance. They climb up to different parts of the key signature and they move around a little bit different during the solo. So for that alone, the 4 choruses and a different structure for the solo means the winner of structure is Devil's Dance. Round 2, flow. This one's a very difficult one as well because like I said, they all have that real medium tempo feel. They all feel good to listen to. I jam out to each one. If you look at Bad Seed, it's got a ba-da-da-da-da-da. It just has a nice little groove that just goes straight, and then we've got those snares on the quarter notes, double kick pedals, really fun there. Everything changes and flows really nicely in that song. You look at Carpe Diem Baby, we have this halftime groove, but that's the groove for the whole song. But then they bring in the snares on the 1 and the 3, and then they switch it back to just the 3, and then they have a nice little stop in that third verse, so that breaks the flow a little bit. But again, all of them sort of have that same story structure: beginning, rising action, and then a little leveling off for the finale. If you go to Devil's Dance, this one also, it starts with that same groove and it kind of keeps the same groove all the way through. So for me, this is a very, very difficult decision. In the end, it all comes down to the drums. If the drums are just going to play straight the whole time, there's nothing wrong with that, but 2 of them are pretty straight all the way through, and one of them has a lot of changes in the drums that go from halftime to straight and then downbeats. It's varied enough that it's more interesting to me. So out of the 3, the winner for flow is Carpe Diem Baby. Round 3, melody. I, once again, don't think I have to talk about all 3 songs in this because how can you deny how good it feels? Yeah, I feel you too. Feel those things you do. There's such a brilliant vocal performance from James, not only in this song, but in the live version that we get on S&M. Very beautiful. You can't deny it. That melody is so freaking catchy. And not only is it great to listen to his voice, but the guitars have this nice crunch. We get a star bass line in the intro. We get some big thunderous hits on the toms. And then we get a nice ha-ha at the very end. So for melody, it's a clear winner in my opinion, Devil's Dance. Engagement. When I think of Metallica and engagement, I'm not only thinking of a lyrical line that catches people, right? There's always that stop at the, or not always, but more often than not, there's a stop at the end of the chorus and then the title of the song or the hook of the song. You could see it here. Come Carpe Diem, baby, choking on the bad seed. Let's dance, right? All three of them have that same structure with the hook on the end of the chorus. They could stop, and at any time, any audience worldwide is going to sing the line for them. So if all three of them have that, how can you gauge which one is more engaging? Then you have to think which one lends itself better to a hey, hey, hey. Well, you can't just look up their online videos because two of these songs almost never get played live. Carpe Diem and Bad Seed. Bad Seed has never been played live. So how do you gauge songs that have never been played against a song that has been played several times, including on live releases? Well, in my opinion, you can't. Those other two songs just don't have the same energy. They don't have the same feel to them. Choking on the bad seed sounds fun to sing, and Carpe Diem Baby sounds fun to sing, but with Devil's Dance, you have a firm pause at the end. Bum, let's dance. Come dance. It's very nice to see you here. Ha ha! Devil's Dance. Round 5, lyrics. In the interest of speeding this thing up, I don't want to go through every single line of every single song. It's very simple to figure out the rhyme scheme. You all have heard my rants about how rhyme schemes work, so you don't need to hear it in every single video. At least I don't think so. If you want me to deep dive, I can, but you're going to have to put it in the comments below, and you're going to have to skip it for this video. Most importantly, I want you to note that the first verse repeats as the third verse. So even though there are 3 verses here, the lyrics only cover 2 verses. The difference, though, is that's wanting through, right? In your eyes I see the fire that burns to free the you, that's wanting through. On the last one, to free the you, that's running through. We have wanting and we have running. And I think that that's interesting. Just like I said yesterday, I appreciate songs that have some form of growth. Even when you recycle a verse, by changing one little word, you can hear the you is running through your veins rather than wanting to get through. In the beginning, it's just kind of maybe there, but this one is definitely there. So that's a really cool, subtle little thing that you wouldn't even notice if you were just listening to the song. We have a lot of symbolism of the snake and the Garden of Eden, the biting the apple, which we'll get into soon, but just the fall of man. If you know the story about Adam and Eve, this sounds like the snake tempting Eve to take that bite and come to the dark side. But then at the very end, it's nice to see you here. You've been tricked. The devil has got you one more time, and it is over. Very poignant way to end a song. Very like stab in the back sort of twist ending, and I really appreciate that. Otherwise, the lyrics here are pretty conversational. These are all sentences you could say to any fellow human that you come across, and I don't know, I guess you wouldn't tell them to dare come down to me, but I'm just saying nothing stands out as poetic. It all sounds like thought processes. It sounds like something that's just kind of coming out of someone's mind, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that it is something to point out as we go into the next song. Let's take a look at Carpe Diem Baby. All right, so this one has a little more lyrics. You can tell already here the lyrics are longer. Some of that has to do with the way that they have separated each line. They have Hit Dirt as its own line, Shake Tree as its own. You could technically put these all in one line, but look at this. Dirt, tree, sky, sea. So we do have an A, B rhyme scheme. We have cool and rule, fail and nail, very similar. What I want to point out about this song is that we have a very similar thing where that first verse repeats in the third verse, But do you see the difference here? We have a little bit of a change. Instead of starting Live Win with, it's not Hit Dirt, they start the third stanza. If you call these four a stanza or a quatrain when you have 4 lines, they took the third section and they started with the third section. And then they worked their way backwards. Strip Smile is actually the second section. But then the third section, Hug the Curve, that's not the first section. That's the third section of the second verse. So they are intermixing their first 2 verses to make a brand new third verse out of the same words. And that is a very intriguing structure to me. Then we have stuff about washing your face away with dirt. That could be getting buried alive. It doesn't feel good till it hurts. Some people really believe that, when you fall into addiction, you don't actually feel anything until you're under the influence. And that's a very sad day. So a lot of this record, all 3 songs have something to do with that. Come Squeeze and Suck the Day, come Carpe Diem Baby. A lot of interesting things. The last thing I want to point out about this song is the syntax of the verses. These are not conversational. Hit dirt, shake tree. This is as simple of a sentence as you can make. It has a verb and it has a noun. That's it. That's all you need to form a sentence. A subject and a verb. The subject is the tree, the verb is the shake. That's all you need. It's just 2 words. They have eliminated all of the syntax that we would use in normal conversation. If you were commanding someone, you would say, go hit the dirt. Go shake the tree. Try shaking the tree. Maybe you could attempt to split the sky when you get home tomorrow. But we're not talking conversationally. This is poetry. And for that reason, I think this song really stands out. Lastly, we have Bad Seed, and this one is kind of a combination of the other 2. We have a lot of references to pierce the apple's skin, right? This is the fall of man. Again, Eve tempted by the serpent to eat the apple and fall from grace. Now you're choking on the bad seed, right? You are drinking yourself to death. You are committing a crime. You are falling victim to some sort of addiction, and it is not super great. You're swinging the noose again. By choking on the bad seed, you are actually killing yourself. And that's a pretty deep, dark thing to admit here on a record that is filled with all kinds of sins. Very interesting lyrics. Once again in the verses, come clean, fess up. Tell all, spill gut. Very similar to the last song in that these are not conversational. This is more artistic. It's broken English syntax, but it's not grammatically incorrect at the same time. It's very strange when you just read these as, you can't just read it to someone and they would go, oh yeah, that's a brilliant story. You have to preface it by saying that this is a poem or a song lyric. And so very interesting. I think that the only thing that tears this song away for me, everything else looks really great, is the ladies and gentlemen. And now that you've all been waiting for, this section always kind of makes me go, huh? A little bit, but everything else is really cool. Let's take a look at that third verse. Oh, that's right. They don't have a third verse in this song. They only have this build-up section. It's just a backing vocal. Off the veil, stay revealed, break it up, burger, burger, burger. Cool. It's different. Instead of the other 2, which were recycling words, they added new words for this bridge. So interesting points for this one. Ultimately, you can make an argument for any of these 3 songs because they all have interesting structures. No one song has to... I'm not here to say that every single song needs to be written the same way. Just because I like broken syntax in my lyrics doesn't mean every song needs it. So does it benefit from that? Maybe, maybe not. What I really need to look into here is the context and the intent behind the song. And all 3 of them, once again, are centered around around sinning and falling from grace and submitting to addiction. So once again, how do you even choose? For me, it starts with an elimination. I don't like the ladies and gentlemen section. I don't know why, I just feel like it feels off. It feels circusy, it feels showmany, and I think that that was intended, but it just doesn't call to me the same way the other two songs do. So for me, Bad Seed gets third place in the lyrics category. So then it's down to Devil's Dance and Carpe Diem. And if you're gonna ask me if I prefer a song about a snake tempting a woman to fall from grace or a person who is committing sins, I'm gonna say they're both the same song. How do you choose? How do you choose? So for me, I'm gonna go for my guilty pleasure. I love broken syntax, and you know what? In a positive way, I believe we should all seize our moment. Go out there and carpe diem, baby. And so once again, with a score of 3-2 to 0, we have the winner, Devil's Dance. I hope you agree with me, but if you don't, I would love to know which one you think should win this round. Put it in the comments below. I want to hear what you think, not only of this matchup, but of the videos too, because I got several more of these to go. And, whatever. I appreciate your input. Make sure you check out Midnight Notion. My music is available all over the internet. And really, I say this every episode, but I mean it. The more you share this music, the more I can share my content with the world. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to go get a job. I do have a job. I just would prefer to share what I know with the world. So please share away. And of course, smash that subscribe button, because tomorrow is the battle for 28th place between Damage Inc. and All Nightmare Long. Who do you think's gonna win? I guess we'll have to find out. Thanks so much for watching. You're awesome. Have a great day.